That feeling of uncertainty holds so many of us back from exploring the UK's incredible network of historic routes. The fear of getting it wrong is a huge barrier for most people. Well, today we're going to get rid of that uncertainty for good. I'm going to show you how to stop guessing and start planning your off-road adventures with total confidence. I'll walk you through the exact process I use to find safe, open and legal green lanes. And then we'll stitch them together into a perfect route that you can follow on your phone while you're riding or driving your 4x4 car. We're going to do this using two powerful tools, Trailwise 2, which is the Bible for UK green laning, and GPX Studio, which is a brilliant free tool for mapping our journey. And by the end of this video, you'll have a solid workflow you can use every single time. Let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to the Trailwise website. It's through the Green Lane Association, so you'll need to get a membership there. I think it's about £50 for the year. They don't increase the prices, at least not since I've been with them. Comes with a bunch of stuff. There's a store where you get some discounts. But the thing that we're interested in here is the map. So it's the map of the UK with pretty much every green lane available to ride. So zoom out, you can see all these red and blue lines. Something to note, but we'll touch on it later, is that a lot of these have TROs. I'm going to find an example of one of these somewhere down here in Wiltshire that isn't. As you can see here, if I click on a red lane, it's got a couple of comments against it. It's got a lane ID, and you can see the route type. So this one is a byway open to all traffic. Those are the red lines. If you look over here on this blue line, it's counted as an unclassified road. Now you are allowed to ride both of these. I'm going to click into the details just to show you what this is about. You get a sort of singled out view on the map. You can see people's comments who's ridden it, so you can see some people have been down here. It gives some helpful information as to whether it's passable at the time of year that you're going to tackle it. So I click on the Google Maps button, gives you a pin, and this alone would be a good start if you were looking to start trail riding, because you could in theory put this map pin in and travel here now. I can't quite see down the trail, but you can see where it starts there. So it gives you a good idea as to where you need to go. You can put a pin in Google Maps and just head off like this. So now with our legal lanes identified, let's jump over to the free tool called GPX Studio. It runs right in the web browser, no need to sign up. And I think you can work on mobile as well. So if you haven't got access to a computer, you can still do it on your phone. When you open it up, you'll get a clean map, and the goal here is to plot the lanes we found on Trailwise, and we'll connect all the dots up, weaving between the tarmac roads along the tracks, and we'll create one file. This is called your GPX file or GPX route, and this is basically what you're going to be able to run on navigation apps. I think you can put them straight onto sort of sat navs as well, or you can import them into Trailwise as well. And I'll show you a bit of that later on. Okay, so this is the bit that takes a little bit of practice, is trying to find your bearings starting a route. So obviously there's loads of lanes over here by the Salisbury training area. This is sort of the North Wessex Downs region. So we're going to start here by the town of Newbury. Going to look for a good lane here. This lane, it's possible for motorcycles to ride. This lane has been TRO'd, which I'll explain now. So a TRO is effectively a traffic regulation order. Basically means you cannot drive a vehicle down it at all. Some of these have specific restrictions to certain types of vehicles. So this one here says the use of 3+ wheels is illegal. So as long as you've got 2 wheels, like a motorcyclist, like me, you can still ride this. This lane here is completely open and it's fine, and it's got a lot of comments on it. People are saying in a standard Defender 110, it's a bit rutted, a bit scratchy, absolutely worth it for the views. So we're going to want to go down this one. So we are going to try and find the start of this trail. So we are just south of Newbury here. So in GPX Studio, found Newbury, found the road. We're on the A34 going down here. So I'm going to zoom right down here, and I think I can already see this trail here. So this is where the difficulty comes in. It's just trying to identify where the start of these lanes are. But I'm pretty certain that it's this one here. The good thing about GPX Studio and Trailwise is they've got a lot of these markers on it because it's all from the OS maps. So you shouldn't have too great a difficulty in finding where you need to put the first point, which is the difficult bit. So I'm going to put a point down right here. So we're going to grab the little pencil icon here. I'm going to turn on routing for now. I like to set the activity to mountain bike, and I do this for a few reasons. I find it follows these smaller pathways easier than it would do if you choose car or motorcycle, because it tries to suggest you go along a road, which we're not trying to do here. We're trying to go off-road. So first point's down, and I'm just going to see whether the route is going to follow this path. So it is. And this is what we're going to do. We're just going to put a few pins throughout the route here until we get to the next bit of tarmac road, and that's these major kind of white coloured roads here. So we got to the next bit of road, so it's always worth checking how this continues. So you can see in Trailwise we're here. You can ride this piddly little bit, and if you are a motorcycle, you can ride this next off-road section here. So we're going to add that in to hit this. So as you can kind of see, it would normally go forwards, but there's a TRO in place. We're not allowed to go down there, and that's fine. We're not going to go down there. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom out, and we're going to try and find which trail we'd like to head to next. So this next bit is just about identifying a good flow for a route, and I've sort of already seen ahead here. If we're finishing at the end of this line, you can kind of follow the roads around through the villages, and there's a few over here that we'd be able to ride. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to GPX Studio here, and I'm going to plot that route. So we're going to go up through the town of Facombe. I'm sorry if I butchered that. This is a good example. So I've just tried to plot a route straight there, and because we're on mountain bike mode, it's saying, okay, we're going to take all the sketchy little footpaths as far as we can. So you can keyboard shortcut Control Z, or you can right click here and click delete, and we're just going to scale it back. Now you can change this mode at any time, so I can say, okay, now I'm on a motorcycle and I'm going to follow the roads instead, because this is a road section here. So we're going to continue all the way up. I'm just going to cross-reference with Trailwise. And as you can see, we're actually coming up to a bit of a lane here. You need to kind of ignore these yellow lines because they are just sort of region border boundaries. So while this is here, I can click on it. And it doesn't appear though as though it's actually going to link up with much of a road. So I'm keen to find out if I click onto the details here. So this point B doesn't look like it actually leads to a road. Dead end at trees turns into a restricted byway, so this isn't a through road. There's not much point in including that in the route, so we're just going to skip it. We're going to go up to these nice long ones up here. So just cross-referencing with this again, we've got wood hay clumps written there, wood hay clumps there, and it looks like the trail is going to continue forwards. I'm going to put it back on mountain bike mode, and we're going to go across this lane. We're linking back up with a road here, so it's constantly just flicking back and forth between Trailwise and GPX Studio now. just to keep on the road. It does appear as though this route isn't following a pathway. I'd be keen to see if any of the comments say okay, people are saying it's very muddy, nice lane, cracking views, rutted, easy lane, nothing technical. Okay, so I think I'm pretty certain that this is tracking the right path here, and that Trailwise is just a little bit off at the top, I believe. We can always go to point B on the map, which would be where we're entering from. Get down, and it looks as though it is going to go through this field instead. It's hard to tell with this lane. I would think it's the road. Yeah, it says byway on that sign. So all these little things here are good clues to be able to plot an accurate route. So we're going to stick to this sort of roadway on here. I'm just going to keep cross-referencing with Trailwise to make sure we're on the right path. So that's Wayfarer's Walk down there, and you can see that this line is going to meet up with Wayfarer's Walk. So we'll just keep going down here. Hit another road, so we'll have to check again. Yep, it does continue to link up, so we're going to keep doing this. And as you can see, we've already plotted a fairly substantial route, and I'd argue more than 70% of that will be off-road trails at the time being. You can see at this bottom here with this graph, gives you the elevation, so you can see where all your hilly bits are going to be and if they're going to be on the route or not. And in the bottom right down here, you can see how far the total route is so far. So I'm not going to go crazy in this video and make a gigantic route, but I will try and loop us back around towards the start, because it's nice to ride a loop. You see, there is a warning against this lane. It says it's obstructed to 4x4s, see comments against the lane. So it could be that, you know, a farmer who's annoyed about people using it has been upset and he's put a big bollard in the way. This is illegal for them to do. You should report it to the local council if somebody does put an obstruction on the lane. And some people rather helpfully upload some photos from various bits. That looks very tight. I'd be amazed if you could get a Land Rover down that. But we're going to take our bike down that. So that's going to continue down here. It's going to make an upward movement. We're going to follow these jagged lines. There is something that you can do if the pins aren't tracking where you want to go very well. You can turn off this routing. And in much smaller movements you can do much less accurate point-to-point navigation, so you have to make them quite a bit smaller. But just a little tip, if it's not tracking very well, you can turn routing off and that helps. And there you have it. I've created a nice little sort of loop. It would be 40 kilometers long. And I think about 70% of that is off-road. Obviously, it depends on where you live and how many trails you've got. The good thing about Trailwise too is no matter where you live in the country, it's marked down all your local lanes. So if you live in the northeast instead of the south west, you can go up here somewhere and you can see where all your local routes are. And using GPX Studio, you can go up there and plot a nice route. So one final thing I'll show you with GPX Studio, which is how to get this onto your phone or your device. And basically once you're happy with your route, you're just going to come up to the top here, you can click File, you'll click Export. This pop-up will appear, it'll say this tool is free to use but not free to run. So they ask for a donation, but they'll let you download the file anyway. So we'll do that. It'll come up here at the top right. I can open that on my desktop. So now if you've already got Trailwise 2, a good thing about it is you can import a GPX file into here. So I'm going to find my downloads. I'm going to insert that there. It's already centered me there and it's given me this dotted line for our route. I'm not going to hit the button because it will show where I live, but there's a track me option and you can click trail feature and it will rotate the map as you drive. I've been using this. I think it works really well. The only thing you won't get with it is turn-by-turn navigation, so you sort of have to give that up, but it's not too big a loss for that one. You can customize the color. You can do this on mobile as well. So if you want to change the color so it stands out a bit better, you can do that too. But you'll basically want to drive along this dotted line on the day that you go out to do your lane. So you can see we've got this first one that we did here. Go on the dotted lines, we'll travel upward, we'll go across these ones here, we'll do all of these lanes, come back around. So that's our route that we plotted in GPX Studio there and put it on the map. And I'd say that took me less than, I don't know, I want to say less than 10 minutes, less than 15 minutes, and I was explaining how to do this to you guys. So once you get good at it and you've done a few of them, you can make these routes fairly quickly. I hope this has been of some help. If it was, please consider subscribing. I make a lot of motorcycle content on my Tenere, where I go and ride a lot of these routes. That's all. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was informative. Safe travels, everyone.